Mrs. Fannie Sherrill lived in our neighborhood. She lived a very reclusive life, but for some reason she loved my mother and would do things, come down and talk to her and do little chores and things for her. But she didn't associate with many people. Everybody said she was strange, and but they did say that she had healing powers, that she had what they referred to as healing hands. And a lot of times, even though the doctor lived right 2 doors down from us, a lot of times when people had little problems, they would go to Miss Fannie. And one of the things they said she could do was she could talk the fire out of burns. So I remember my mother telling this story, and my oldest sister, Emily, also. My mother was cooking dumplings, and at that time, she had a wooden stove. And she took the big pot off the stove and put it down. I don't know if it was on another container or what, but she put it down near the floor. And my sister was she was going to put more fuel in the stove. And my sister was bouncing around, and she fell, and her bottom went right into the pot of dumplings and burned her. She had very fair skin, and she burned pretty badly. So my mother rushed her up to Miss Fannie's house, and she did what they called talking the fire out. And to this day, my sister does not have any kind of a scar. You would never know that she had been badly burned. So I don't know if it's true, but a lot of people believed that she did have healing hands, and they talked about other things that she did to make them believe this, but I don't know any of the other stories about that.
And what was her background?
She was considered black, but she was mostly Cherokee. Mm-hmm. Cherokee, and she looked Cherokee. She looked more Cherokee than black, but she was very quiet, lived a very reclusive life. I never knew a husband. I just knew she had a son, and his name was Son Sherrill. So that's all we ever knew. He lived quite a few years after she died, but in the same house. But I don't know whatever happened to him because I went away to school.
Was he older than you guys?
Oh, yes. Son was much older than we were, much older. Mm. We were children. He was a grown man. Mm. But she lived for ripe old age. I imagine she lived into her 90s. Mm. And
did she take care of herself the whole time?
Very much so. Very slender, very attractive woman.